We're back on another episode of Breaking Bread, and I'm here with Erica Cooper, or better known as Cook It Erica. Erica, welcome to the show. I'm thrilled to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here with you. Hello.
Yeah. So let's tell the audience a little bit about how we met, obviously through TikTok. We're both influencers. Your content is through the roof. You have millions of followers and, adoring fans. So, yeah, that's a huge accomplishment, especially with a craft like yours.
It's a lot of fun. And I love watching your channel because it just makes me think of home. It's great.
And you're from, I believe that you said Brooklyn, right?
We're originally from Brooklyn, Bensonhurst area. And then we moved to DC and now we're in North Carolina. So originally Brooklyn.
How did you go from Brooklyn to DC to North Carolina?
Oy vey. So Brooklyn is like the best place ever, but my dad took a job when we were younger. Mm-hmm. And so we moved to the DC area. And then just a couple of years ago, my daughter wanted to go to school in North Carolina. So mm-hmm. Where she goes, I go. So we came here. So it's very different. It's very different here.
So you definitely miss the hustle and bustle of the city life, I'm assuming.
It's the people. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, we have a local Italian restaurant here. Mm-hmm. And I walked in immediately and the owner looked at me and I looked at him and I didn't even know the guy and we came together and just started hugging. It was the weirdest thing ever. I have black hair. Well, now it's graying, but when I first moved here, I had all black hair. I kept getting it dyed. Nobody knew how to do black hair here. Things
really?
Like that. They don't know how to do nails. They don't know how to do hair. They don't know how to do lashes. You got to train them. You got to train the people here how to do it, the Northeastern way. But yeah, that when I saw the restaurant owner and he was Italian and he looks at me Italian, Jewish, same company, different division. Yeah. He looked at me, I looked at him. We just walked up and started hugging. It was the craziest thing ever.
That might be the most Italian thing I've ever heard. You're just in random North Carolina, you see another Italian / New York / Jewish person, and you just hug.
Santino's. His name's Santino. And now we're best of friends. And we go in there when the restaurant's closed and have a family dinner. But if you're ever in Topsail Beach, North Carolina, you have to come here. You have to come to see. I'll take you. We'll go to Santino's. Yeah. It will feel like home.
Yeah, and if you're ever around here, I have a whole host of places that I'm sure would love to have you.
It'd be so much fun.
So have you ever thought of opening up your own restaurant? Because for those of you who are listening who don't know, Erica has her own food TikTok page, like I said earlier, that has a couple million followers. So did you ever think of opening a restaurant or something like that?
I was in the restaurant industry for a really long time. And it's not easy. If I were ever to open anything, it would kind of be like a pop-up. Mm-hmm. That's how it is these days. But no, I would not want restaurant life is not for me.
Yeah, I get that. My grandfather owned a pizzeria for many years. And when I was a kid, I always wanted to take after him, but he was adamant about me not doing it. He's like, you don't know what it takes. He goes, you don't want that in your life. Trust me.
It's the restaurant that I used to run. This bird kept flying into the transformer. And all of a sudden we'd have no electric. Oh my God, the electric went out once from that damn bird and the freezer section. Water was coming out everywhere. And the freezer filled with, it was an ice skating rink. It the craziest stuff happens. And it's for me, cooking is about food. It's about love. It's about culture. And I love everyone else's cultures. I want to see your culture. I want you to try my culture. I want to sit down at a table with you and eat with you. And, for me, it's I would love to have a cooking show one day. And I already have it all planned out. I want to call it Our Family Table. And I want to bring people in from all cultures, cook their food, and then us all break bread together. So you're going to have to be there. Break bread. You're going to have, literally Food Network, hello. But honestly, I like to teach food. I like to teach how to cook, how to kind of meld flavors together. And I like to learn from different cultures. Personally, like that's the restaurant thing, not ever my end goal. It's the people, it's the culture, it's the love, that's the kind of stuff that gets me like very excited.
So you 100% have the personality for a cooking show. Like absolutely, you're so bubbly and fun. Like, I didn't even need to rehearse that like much. Like we went on the Zoom, we're talking, and it's just like off to the races.
From your mouth to God's ears, we'll see. We never know what's on the path, but I'm hoping.
You actually haven't gotten any calls like that? I'm really surprised because of like when people see the TikTok game is strong, that stuff starts to happen.
It happens for some. It hasn't happened for us yet, but we're manifesting it. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. I'm manifesting
it. Amen.
Yeah.
I love that. So you're Cook It Erica full time.
Full time.
And when did you know that was going to be your choice? Like that you were going to do this full time, put your all into it? Like what was that, I guess that kind of spot when the light bulb went off?
We blew up over something that was so stupid. I can't with TikTok. I did a no sugar, it's keto video over gummy bears. This was like legit, what was it, 2 years ago to like a week ago. One of my best friends flew in from Boston and she surprised me for my birthday. I had no idea she was coming and I was excited that she was here. So in my video, I'm like, oh my God, I just made these gummies. I was very excited. It came out as I look like a psycho in my video. So like, like when you're excited, and like, you're like, oh my God, sit down, have this, do this. Look, you're in New York, like, eat this, try this. Yeah. So I turned, it sounded like I was a total psychopath. And that video went viral. I mean, like 12 million, 15 million views.
Holy shit.
Back before the pandemic, before all the people were even on TikTok. And yeah, so we kind of blew up and then like we did keto and like I hate diet culture and I have Hashimoto's disease. My doctor was like, do not do keto. Are you crazy? Like get off the keto. So like then we had to take our channel from what everyone thought was keto and it was like a madness for a little while. But then brands like started reaching out, and they were like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And I got an agent because I was like, I don't have time to do all this cooking, all this. And like, I don't even know how to do this part. And that's when I realized, okay, like we can do this as a business. And then COVID hit hardcore and I have an autoimmune disease. Like my doctor's like, if you get COVID, you're going to die. Don't get it. And I was like, okay. Jeez. So I've been home this whole pandemic. Like we still have to wear masks and act crazy when we leave. It's still we still are living our best pandemic life. When people come here, they have to, COVID test and do a 3-day quarantine. It's crazy, but, I was like, I have no other choice.
Yeah.
I can't leave my house. And so it kind of turned into like a family. It was really cool. Like all my TikTokers are like, actually, like, I don't even have followers. They're like legit family, these people, this community. Like if you go under my comment section, I have the nicest human beings on our channels. They're like you, like they're just wonderful, like good people. So it actually ended up kind of being like therapy for me because I was like, I can't be on the outside world. Look at all these amazing people. That's kind of how I did.
That is an amazing story. Like, you're probably the first influencer that I've had on here that has been pre-viral before the pandemic. So that's a really interesting story.
And I'm not an influencer. You know what? We're like, I consider myself like a content creator because people don't understand. Okay, if you follow cooks like on TikTok, on Instagram, YouTube, please go give them. You have to understand, like you have to create a menu. You have to go to the grocery store. You have to buy everything. So it costs like a minimum of $3,000 a month just to run your channel because you have to buy all the food. Yep. And only like 60 to 75% of your food works. You're throwing a lot out because you mess up, something burns, You're not paying attention. Like I have a new air fryer right now and we've named her Anna Delvey. Have you seen, because she's a liar. Like legit, this freaking air fryer, it says 10 minutes, it's freaking 4 minutes. It's not 10 minutes. Anna Delvey lied. You know, I love the air fryer, but it's like a fraction of the time that it says that it's gonna take. And you know, things burn, things mess up. So it's a lot, and then you have to cook the food, and then you have to clean up after you cook the food, then you have to edit the videos. I mean, we're not getting, God bless the people who get on and dance, but you go on, you dance, like you invest nothing. When you're cooking, it's so much that you're investing. It's crazy. So I more like call it content creator. Influencer's great, but like I am the worst. I don't know. I think for me, it's just like content creator, you know?
I can see what you mean, because there is a difference. I am totally see what you're saying. There really is a difference.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, Breaking Bread is an Italian American themed podcast, but to me, just from the first second of seeing you, I was like, she has an Italian spirit, like 1,000,000%.
I do. Yeah.
How would you say that the Italian culture influenced you? Obviously, you grew up in Bensonhurst, you know, you were around a ton of them. So
I've got to so here's what happened. My grandparents fled the Holocaust and came to New York. And back then, when I grew up, because I'm old, back then, you got two sides of the street. The Italians were on one side and the Jewish people were on the other side. And it's so funny because I remember as a kid going back and forth with plates, okay? Like you run across the street, you come home with meatballs, and then we take matzo balls across. And I'm telling you, same company, different division. It's just same parents, like Italian, Jewish, same culture. You grow up in the same area, different food, and you're like running the food back and forth. But it's that same, like the moms are the same. It's a very similar thing. And so we all grew up together, you know, and everyone looks at my mom and thinks she's Italian. She's dark. My mom's like a very olive skin tone, like she looks Italian, and they think she's automatically, but we grew up, my mother grew up on a racetrack, you know, she grew up in a very Brooklyn lifestyle. And so this is how we grew up. And we all grew up together. And it wasn't like now where people, days were so different back then. I see a lot of crazy things now. And to me, like Italian is Jewish, Jewish is Italian. I mean, I kind of think like who you hang out with is who you become.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, it's funny that you say that, like the things, you know, were totally different, is because that's why I fantasize about being an old soul. Like, you know, that whole thing is, you know, because what you're telling me is what my parents told me. It's what, you know, my friends who are older than me tell me. Like, you know, like it really was like a different world.
It was. You could trust your kids to go outside and be taken care of by all the parents.
Yeah. Well, you definitely can't do that now.
No.
Yeah.
Doors were unlocked. Like you could legit be playing in the middle of the street. We used to do hopscotch, like with the chalk on the side. Like, yeah, it was a different time.
So, like, did you pick up any Italian, like speaking wise or anything like that? Just out of curiosity.
Just to like, you know, yeah, we would pick up each other's manners, you know, like Yiddish, we'd be like Mashigana. And then like, when you walk across the street, they'd be doing, I'd come home and do it. My mom's like, oh, no. What are you doing? But yeah, you pick up like the mannerisms and like kind of like the slang. But as far as like the Italian language, no, I never picked up any like real Italian. Oh, how cool would that be to be able to speak like fluent, to be able to but I think more we've just picked up each other's mannerisms. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I know what you're saying, because I use a lot of Yiddish, and like I'll say, oh, I got to schlep out there, or like something like that, like, you know. So I totally get what you're saying. Being from Queens, like, you know, I spent a lot of time in Forest Hills. That's a very Italian Jewish area, like, you know, so I picked up on all of that stuff.
Oh, maybe you can help me. I just ordered pickles. I just ordered a pail of pickles. Hold on, I've never tried it, because I usually order pickles from Katz's. You can't get pickles in North Carolina.
You can't get pickles in North
You
Carolina?
can, but you can't. You know, like you can.
I know you
but
can.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I ordered, maybe you know what this place is. Let me tell you where I ordered from. I've got to tell you, I should have been prepared. Gus's Pickles. Have you ever tried Gus's Pickles? All right. Well, listen, I just ordered it. I'll let you know how it goes. They're
Yeah.
out of New York, but they're out of the Bronx. And
I thought you were
very,
going to say cats for a minute.
no, I order cats all the time. I order their pickles, but their full sours are not big enough for the project that I'm planning.
Yeah.
I need a big ass pickle. I need a big ass pickle. And theirs are delicious, but they're not big ass pickles. So yeah, we can cuss, right? Are we allowed to cuss?
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, how can you be from New York and not cuss anyway?
I know.
It's very hard. I usually get on podcasts and I try to like be very good, but like with you, I'm like, we can cuss, right? Like, let's tear it up. But yeah, so I'm very excited. They're supposed to come today. If the doorbell rings while we're here together, I'm waiting on my pickles. So I'll let you know how it goes.
It's funny that you mentioned pickles because one of my roommates, there's a couple guys in the house. Two of them are Italian, one of them isn't. But the one who's not Italian, he's obsessed with pickles. So I'm gonna tell him, you ever move to North Carolina, you won't be able to get the fucking pickles.
You can't get the fucking pickles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, we used to go on the street and there were barrels with pickles, and you'd get a pickle out of the barrel. This was my treat. Yes, Cats used to have a barrel of pickles outside.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I mean, now with COVID, it
I
would
was
never
just about
fly.
to say, think about the pandemic. Yeah.
Right? But like, I mean, how many and I can't do like, what are those buffet? I can't do a buffet.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I've never been able to do
about that too now. Yeah.
Listen, people, I'm like, ooh, I've never been able to do a buffet. But like the pickle barrel, you think like there's enough vinegar to kill a cow. Like it's no problem. But there used to be these barrels and you reach in with the thing and you put the pickle in the thing and it was amazing.
Do you remember Sizzler? Really random thought. I know, but you already know what's like going through my head. Like when I was a kid and there would be like a party there, even then I was just kind of like, people are who's coughing, what looks sloppy. I can't even imagine now if something like that were to exist, what would happen.
I had a bad experience down, like not in New York, but when you start going DC, they have Golden Corral. Have you ever been to a Golden?
Yeah, no, I've like heard of it, but I haven't been.
Listen, I ate from there once, and on the way home, my butthole was puckering. I was so sick. And we were like, I was like, I just need to make it home. I do not want to empty in this vehicle. I don't want to shit myself. Like I was so sick. I will never eat a buffet again. I would rather stick a pencil in my eye than eat from a buffet. Never again. Yeah, that was it. I was like 20. Never again.
That's so funny. That is the funniest story we've had on this podcast. Yeah, that's hysterical.
Listen, we're gonna keep it real. I'm gonna tell you, I almost shit myself. I love shit myself. Yeah, bad.
I love that you're keeping real, not that you almost shit yourself.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
So this is actually the perfect question for you, but it's just popped in my head randomly. Let's just say hypothetically speaking, right? Because this is like a big controversy. I'm like not sure who believes it, who doesn't, but I'm curious to get your opinion. Let's just say hypothetically, you were single and someone asked you on a date to Red Lobster. How would you feel about that?
Oh, good Lord.
Because you're a foodie, like you make this artisan food almost.
I would probably say something like, wow, that sounds great. There's a place right down the street from there. And I think that you might really like it. Have you ever been to blank? And then I would name the good place. Not that there's a problem with Red Lobster, because let me tell you something. They have good biscuits. They have good things. They have nice things. But as someone, like, I don't know, like I don't go to Red Lobster very often. I do love their biscuits. I like holes in the walls. Mm-hmm. When you come from New York, you're used to walking in a hole in the wall and it just being amazing. And you've got the cooks back there and it's a different feel. And I love it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with Red Lobster. But if it was a first date, I'd probably want to go somewhere different, or if I didn't want to, if they like bucked at me, I would just go and do it. Look, I've been on a lot of really interesting first dates that have been way worse than Red Lobster. That could be a whole nother podcast. We could have our own podcast of dating situations. But yeah, I'd probably be like, oh, that sounds great. How about here?
The only reason why that I said that is because I'm like thinking about North Carolina and stuff like that, and like the first thing that crossed my mind is like I was that kid in like high school. I was 14, a little chubby Italian kid with like my chain, and my dad's telling me to take girls out to 5-star dinners when I'm 14. He would like hand me like a wad of cash and be like, here, like just for the dinner. It wouldn't be for anything.
You were raised properly to make the woman your queen. And Little Italy, my God, you go to Little Italy, those flavors on your palate, it's night and day. I'll tell you, I'm going to really have to have you here. Here in North Carolina, they'll have like a 5-star. We get very excited. We go, I sit down, immediate disgust, immediate, who's giving these ratings? Immediate, oh my God, what is this? There's some really good places, but they're very few and far between where we live.
How's the Italian situation in like North Carolina? Is it non-existent?
There's 2 places to go, and they're both New York Italian owned.
What about people of Italian descent? Anywhere?
Oh, help me, Jesus. There's those 2 Italian restaurants, that's the only place you'll find the Italians.
Wow. And that's where in North Carolina?
Topsail Beach, North Carolina. Don't ever move to a beach town is my, okay. I'm just gonna, for anyone who hears this, go live in a beach town first before you buy a house in a beach town, because it's interesting.
I can see that.
There's not a lot of culture, which is a problem for me. I've learned in life the most from people that are not inside of my culture. Sit down with someone from Africa for 5 minutes, your life will change. I have a really good friend who passed away, but he was from Gambia. And every time I sat with him, I would get like goosebumps. The guy would tell me stories that would make my head spin. The recipes we would cook together, it just sensational. You know what I'm saying? Go sit with someone that's not from your culture for 5 minutes. It will change your life. There's nothing like that here. Like, unfortunately, in this beach town, there's just a lot of Caucasian people and not really much outside of that, which is weird for someone, from
I know, growing up in Queens,
you're used to walking around and you see all culture, and there's, everyone's seasoned. It's not like that. That's the one thing that I really, really, really don't like about where I live. That's the one thing, that and the food.
Lastly, just to close, would you ever think about coming back to New York, to move, or just in general, since you say that you miss it so much?
I would love to have a place in New York. I would love to have like a condo in New York. Absolutely. Yeah.
I would. So if for anyone at the Food Network, if you're listening, Erica needs her own show ASAP. Whether it's, we need to get her back to New York. Someone who is as talented as like her. No offense to North Carolina, should not be in North Carolina where there's, there's all that kind of, not enough food culture.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of really good places in North Carolina. I think, but like in the beach town where we live, it's a small.
Yeah, it's a small.
It's different.
I get what you mean.
You'll come. You know what, Anthony will have you. You'll come. You'll see.
I would love to. I'm a big traveler, so I love to travel.
Listen, the content we could do.
Oh my God, you're right. I didn't even think about that part of it. I was just thinking about this summer, to be honest with you.
Maybe this summer you'll come. I'm not even kidding. Like, the content we could create, like, you and I would be dying laughing, and people are going to stare at us like we're nuts.
I got to take the caddy and drive down there. Screw it.
Oh my gosh.
I'll get a road trip.
Yes, do it.